Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gonzalo Valdivia, degree in Hispanic Linguistics and Literature, who meets you to give the summary of my Spanish podcast called El Fuego de Prometeo. In English, we will know this mission as the Fire of Prometheus. I want to explain the purpose of this program. The Titan in the myth is a giver, but more a facilitator of knowledge. He is still the fire, a torch which represents the secrets to manage and understand the cosmos held by Greek gods. Then he decodifies, interprets, and passes to the stage of transferring these skills, this group of know-how aptitudes to the first human beings. When these men began to use the knowledge, their master become better known, because all of them remember that Prometheus let them expand, modify, adapt useful tools to their particular nature, to their way of life, of interpret knowledge, to their private and intrinsic insight. Then I disclaim that I never pretend to state that I have the last reading on every topic or subject I discuss. It is only my opinion, and I wish to share my findings. They configure ideas which I have to defend since my years of university and then in the years of work, of my job in the world of ideas. I entitled this first episode as Crisis and Secrets of the Arts. Why these two axes are so important in the fields of arts? The crisis is a process which is a cycle, which arrive, affects, transform, and then quits, letting things to a point of evolution or even diminishing the standards of the vision of arts. Crisis is also the opportunity to make a difference and attach himself or herself to the proper way of the art. Be careful to the poetic, the way of composition in literature, to the canon of painting, sculpture, poetry, etc. Then to compose with a cultivated and high standards of quality and not fail to this extreme of the crisis, which is the awful banalization of contents. When people banalize, ridiculize, make clumsy text, and they began to call this is a painting, this is a novel or a sculpture, and get the natural response of the lack of attraction in the audience, art is taken by assault. But even poets who have begun with empiric ways of composition could evolve. For example, among the beats, Allen Ginsberg began with the poem Howl, which was good in a strong message but very discursive, without the proper uh, tropos of expression. Then he passed to the complaint of the homeless when he described the adventure of a former Vietnam soldier who returns to America to wipe the windshield of the car, and was more human, more focused on what the the order and the sequence of image have to arrive to the reader or to the listener of a poem. I like most Jack Kerouac, who surpassed the automatic writing with poems like The Cat, where he describes the mystery of a female feline compared to things of Egypt, and his haikus. He was very accurate and kept only the necessary elements to configure a well-balanced poem. But following Prometheus myth, we strive to maintain the democratization of art. In earlier times, the poets, the great masters, didn't want to teach everybody. So we could find hard phrases like one of Stéphane Mallarmé, a very smart, intelligent poet. We, the poets, cannot give our art to the workers so they could spoil it with their bare hands. This quote does not concern to elitism or selfishness. It is only expressing the fear of great masters to give the art to misleading hands. So they always wanted to avoid the banalization of the themes and topics they love and develop during all their careers. In ancient times, we can remember Quinto Horatius Flaccus, the Latin poet and soldier who wrote Ars Poetica, a book where he gives advice to writers, and he states, considering the mediocre writers of his time, these sentences or statement: neither the gods, nor the animals, nor men, nor the rocks could stand medium poets. So for masters and tradition, there is no place for mediocre writers, because the art has occupied lots of generations to maintain high standards of composition and ways of creation. Today, in all the world, merge writers who blend the news with the appearance of verses and call it poetry. But there couldn't be such equivalence, because if you want to gratify, to amaze people, you must give the best of your creativity. You can't give the news in a format of poetry. Never be the same. So these bad composers are trying to flirt with beauty in a way they will never conquer her.